Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago 811. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys doing pretty good. In this video, we're going to talk about 2026 dig season. If you want to become a locator for 2026 and locate on the 811 side, here's some things that you guys or your gals should know about the 811. Locating on the 811 side, locating in general is not an easy task. People think it might be easy task. And you guys might see videos. You might see my videos. You might see other YouTube videos. It looks easy, but I can assure you that we've been doing this for a long time. We make this job look easy because we have the experience. We've been doing it for decades. But there's a lot of jobs, white collar jobs. I mentioned last year there'll be a lot of white collar jobs for 2026 losing their jobs. And those are the folks that's turning around and looking for other jobs just to pay their bills. And like I see a lot of these white collar jobs jumping on a bandwagon, locating for the 811 side. And let me give you some heads up, folks. When you locate on the 811 side, it's not that easy at all. Like I said, it's not that easy. In Illinois alone, we go through, the 811 average about 1.5 to 1.6 million tickets a year. That's a lot of tickets that comes through Illinois. And 1.5, 1.6, what does that mean to you folks? That means you guys are busy as hell. There's a lot of tickets coming in, a lot of tickets got to get billed out. When I mean billed out, I mean going to that job site, locating that job site, putting your hours on that ticket so that company, whoever has that contract, could bill that utility owner the correct amount of hours. So those are tickets you guys have to go on and start pushing out tickets. And the thing is, it's all about production. When those tickets start coming in and you have a set area, which whatever utility company or whatever locating company you work for, a third-party locating company, whatever company that might be, you should have a set area. And that's an area that you're going to handle. Typically, if you're locating, the major utilities in Illinois, we have ComEd, Nicor Gas, Comcast, and AT&T. If you're working for one of those companies that's located at utility, you should have one set area, because those utilities is in every single township, every single village, every single city. You should have that utility, and you should be assigned to at least one of those areas. If it's a village, a township, whatever it might be, you should be assigned to that area. And that's the area that company that hired you is going to expect you to maintain that area and keep your area clean, meaning keeping your tickets up to date. Getting those tickets closed out properly before the due date. And on every ticket, there's a time and due date that it's regulated through the government, through the ICC, Illinois Chamber of Commerce. It's regulated. They want those tickets completed before that due date it comes up. So, for example, if you have a ticket that's due on March 10th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that ticket needs to be closed out March 10th. 1 o'clock that afternoon, that ticket needs to be closed out. If it's closed out after the 1 o'clock period, the ICC considers that's a late ticket, and every quarter the ICC pass out fines. And if you have claimed those late tickets and it gets racked up, those late tickets, the ICC could fine your company lots of money, and then your company won't be happy with you because you're not keeping up with your area. So that's the name of the game. So you folks trying to get into the locating business, it's not as easy as you think. There's several different locating companies out there. My advice to you is to do your research. Search for the company that you're interested in locating, And hopefully that company is a good company that you choose. There's a lot of companies out there. You have to do your research. If they're a brand new company, a lot of these brand new companies might struggle for the first year. They might not be staffed properly. They might be understaffed. And that's the situation that you guys will go through, which whatever company you guys choose to locate in. If they're understaffed, that's where the stress level comes up. You could be stressed out to the max because now they go dump more tickets in different areas in your queue to expect you to get those areas caught up as well as your own area. And that's where the stress level comes up. That's where you start getting stressed out, and then you start getting aggravated, and then the next thing you know, you're like, this job is not for me. That's the part of the game. That's the name of the game. But if you work for a company, if you do your research properly and you work for a company that established themselves in Illinois, meaning they've been around for years in Illinois, that company there is most likely the company that's well established. I mean, that's well set up for the dig season. That means they have enough locators they need to maintain the ticket volume that comes through the 811 side, Julie's side, the 811. They have enough locators, and the stress level should come, not be so much. Your ticket volume should be more manageable. But there's some companies that's out there, they're a brand new company. You need to do a research on those companies, because those brand new companies, if they didn't establish any kind of footing in Illinois, they might not last. They might not last that long because they don't understand the Illinois market. They don't understand the process of these tickets through the Illinois market. In the Illinois market, they just don't have the slightest clue. They don't know what the volume ticket is or whatever the case might be. So they might be understaffed. So when you guys are understaffed, don't have enough locators out there, the stress level goes through the roof because you're understaffed. If you go work for a company, you should be they should offer some kind of training program. It doesn't matter if you have 0 years experience or if you have 10 years experience. Each utility company or each company that does locate should put you through their training program. If they don't put you through their training program, just say you have 2 years experience and a company hires you and they don't put you through their training program, they're like, oh, you have the experience, and they just throw you out there, they're setting you up for failure. You won't succeed. Because if you've been locating for another locating company the wrong way, and you jumped board and went with this other company, and that company assumes you know how to locate, but you basically didn't get trained from the first company, you're just going from bad to worse. So then that means, so you're going bad to worse. That means you're going to fail at the second company. Each utility company should put you through their training program, the way they want you to locate that infrastructure, that utility. And if they don't put you through a training program, that's a company I would jump board. I wouldn't work. I will jump ship. I wouldn't work for that company. Because, yes, I can locate, I myself can locate any utility out there. I'm not bragging, it's just that's the years experience I have. I'm not scared. But a Pacific utility owner who owns that utility might want you to locate that utility a different way. So you gotta get trained on how to locate that utility. It could be the market procedures. Every utility company has their own market procedures, how you mark the utility. So that could be one of the factors. Or the other factor, the company could say, hey, any high profile cables on our print, I need you guys double access it. So, that's what the utility company expects. That's what you got to do. So that's the training program I'm talking about, that company should be training you on, what that utility company owner wants you how to locate their infrastructure. There's most utility companies, not most, maybe all, have a procedure the way they want you to locate their infrastructure. So if they don't put you through any type of training and they just give you a truck and put you out there in the field, I would question that company. You know, I'll think twice about working for that company. It's like, yeah, I don't need to train. I've been doing it for a long time, but what's the actual way I should locate that utility? How should I locate that utility? What does that utility owner want me to locate that program? How far apart should I put the marks? How many flags should I put the marks? Should I put the marks on every single line I put on the ground? Should I put it every other mark I put on the ground? How wide is the mark? Every 5 feet? Every 6 feet? Every 10 feet? You know, that's part of the training. And plus, we got a cop. Right too far. We got a Smoky. So those are the training that you should go through the company you know, to know about the utility, how to locate the utility, how far the marks are, how many flags should put down, and plus the most important, whatever equipment they're using. There's several equipment they're using. They need to train you how to use that equipment, because that equipment will make you or break you. If you don't truly know how to use that equipment, you're going to fail in the field. You need to know whatever utility company you work for, they need to train you on that equipment that they provided to you. They need to train you on that. You need to understand your equipment. The better you understand your equipment, the better locator you're going to be. You know, so that's the key to success. Understanding your equipment, learning your equipment. So those are just some of the key factors if you want to become a locator. What the company should be doing. 9 yards the company should be training you on when you apply for a locating company. That's jobs. That's the training the company should provide to you guys, so you guys are successful in this line of work. Like I said, utility locating is not an easy job at all. It's not for lazy people, no means at all. If you're an office worker that is used to answering phones and pushing the pencil up and down the desk, this job is not for you. Like I said, this job is on demand. It's stressful, and it's go. Most companies that you're doing locates, that, you know, if you're doing 1-way, 2-way, 3-way locates, whatever, how many different utilities, each company go have their own quotas on their production needs, because each company makes money on every time you close a ticket out. That's how these companies are making money. So, just for example, to say you're doing 4-way locates, that particular company might want 2 tickets per hour done. That means every hour they expect you closing out two tickets per hour. I'm not talking about big long extents, like projects that's over 500 feet longer. Those tickets won't get closed out. There's no way in hell you'll be doing 2 tickets per hour doing on those longer extents. When the company, in my opinion, says they want 2 tickets per hour, those tickets are going to be your single address tickets. And those single address tickets will be your homeowner tickets, residence tickets. Those are the tickets that they'll be expecting 2 tickets per hour on. So, fence job, I'm planting bushes in my backyard, I'm digging in the front yard, putting a mailbox. Those are your single address tickets, and those are the tickets the company expects you get 2 tickets per hour done. Now, when you're working on longer extents, hopefully the company understand that, you know, you got a longer extent. That extent is not going to take you half an hour to do. that extent might take you 4 hours to do, 2 hours to do, an hour to do, which that company should understand who hired you. The longer extents. It's not. You won't get that extent done. 2 tickets per hour. Not at all. If you rush an extent like that, a long extent like that, you get a damage, and most likely it's going to be a high-profile damage. That company might not keep you around. That company might let you go because of that damage. So those longer extents, most companies understand that these longer extents takes time. They understand you can't get it done. So your single address tickets, that's what the companies expect. 2 tickets per hour. Get those tickets done. 2 tickets per hour. Whatever the case might be for that company you work for. But really do your research on the utility company that you're going to work for. There's a lot of new companies out here that might not just last that long. They might have the contract for a couple months and they might lose the contract. Next thing you know, you're out of a job. So you really have to do research on these companies to make sure the company you're going for works for you, that they'll stick around. My opinion is I'll go with a company that established themselves in the state of Illinois. And we all know there's only one of that company. That's the company I'll probably start out with. I don't like mentioning names, but that's probably the company I'll start out with and then move on from there. With these newer companies, you wait a year, 2 years, see if they establish themselves, see if they're still around in their second tick season. If they're still around, probably damage out here. If they're still around in their second tick season, most likely that company is going to stay for a long time. Because I've seen companies, they come and go. Some companies I saw had a contract for 3 months. And then after 3 months, that company lost the contract. And all those employees that jumped ship, worked for that utility company, now they're all unemployed. They don't have a job anymore. So it's very, very important to pick the right company. Like I said, you got to do your research. If a company says, hey, you come on board, and they say you've been located for 2 years, you come on board or whatever the case might be, they say, hey, we'll give you $33 an hour. For a company to give you $33 an hour, you've been located for a couple of years, that should be a red flag. Because no utility companies will give you $33 an hour. No third contractor companies will offer you that amount of money, not knowing who you are, what you do. You're going to be in a range in the 20s. You could be in the low 20s or high 20s. And then after a year or so, if you're with that company and that company's still around and they see that you're busting your ass, you're getting the tickets done, yeah, you might be in the low 30s. But starting out, there's no way I don't see a company's going to pay you in the 30s because they don't know who you are. You could say you're the best locator out there, whatever the case might be. I've been doing it for 80 years. So I still don't know you, so I'm not paying you that kind of money until you establish some kind of relationship with my company. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you an example. So those are the red flags you got to watch out for. You're getting paid good. The area they're giving you, if they don't give you, if you're located in one of the major utilities, like I said, ComEd, AT&T, Microgas, Comcast, if they don't give you one set area and they give you a broad area, a big area to cover, and you're located in one of those major utilities, that's another red flag. Because there's no way when tick season comes in, you're going to handle all these other areas that they give you. So that's another red flag. With any major utility, you should have one set area. For example, if you're working in a Wooddale, your area will be only set in stone, will be set in Wooddale. That's your area. That's all you're covering is Wooddale. Because there's no way with the volume that comes through Wooddale, that you could handle going from Wooddale all the way to, say, Addison, Illinois. There's no way. The drive time might be short, but the volume going back and forth and the emergency tickets you're doing, you will never keep up with the volume of the tickets that comes through in both areas, unless one of the areas the volume is low. So one of the areas the volume is really low, to see you getting 50 tickets a day in that area, you can clean up that area, yeah, then you could jump to the next area and get that caught up if that volume, the sake is 35 tickets a day. You know, so that means you're pumping out about 50 tickets a day. You could do it, but when one area gets swamped, you get 100 tickets a day coming in, and the other area is getting 200 tickets a day coming in. There's no way you go handle both areas. There's no way. In the wintertime, I can see it's manageable, but in this season, it's not manageable. They're setting you up for failure if they give you a bigger area than one set area. You know, these are all my opinions, folks, about the utility, about locating on the 811 side, what each company should offer you. So like I said, if it's too good to be true, it most likely it is.